Okay, so on today's topic, ESPN as well as several other outlets are reporting that John Wall no longer wants to be with the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets organization no longer have a need for John Wall, and John Wall wants a trade. Now, if you've been living under a rock, allow me, brother, to explain, John Wall was traded for Russell Westbrook. The Houston Rockets, desperately seeking Susan, wanted Russell Westbrook out of there so bad that they was willing to take on John Wall's ridiculous contract. Okay, I believe he has 2 years remaining on this contract. John Wall is 32 years old. Clearly, he's outside of his prime. There are no suitors for John Wall at this current time. There was rumors out there that the Clippers was kicking the tires around for a possibility of landing John Wall to their organization, and they said, nah, we pass. There was one point of time, and this was a rumor, and I sort of didn't believe this rumor, that the Lakers were interested in John Wall. If they couldn't get anything done with a Russell Westbrook trade, or a trade involving the Sacramento Kings, and the Lakers said, nah, we're good over here. So there are no trade partners for John Wall because, clearly the Houston Rockets are starting over. They rebuilding, and they have already decided on who's going to be on the roster, and they're going to start, and they're going to have the youth. They're going to have all the youth as their roster, and they're just going to rebuild, and they're not playing for any playoff seedings or the possibility of making it to the NBA Finals. They're playing for the lottery, okay? And I mean, personally, to be honest with you, if John Wall was on their team, I don't see how they could not still get a top spot in the lottery, okay? But I digress. We'll move on. John Wall wants to be traded because of what the Houston Rockets organization has decided on, and the Houston Rockets saying, fine, we would love to trade you, but we're not going to give up assets, draft picks, players, just to get you traded, because that's probably what's going to take in order to orchestrate a trade for John Wall to be leaving the H-Town area to go elsewhere, okay? To go anywhere, all right? First of all, there's no huge demand for John Wall. There's not a team in the league that's saying to themselves, you know what will make this team perfect? If we can somehow land John Wall to our squad. There are no conversations being discussed at the front office or coaches as far as exploring a possibility of landing John Wall. Now, John Wall's contract is the biggest reason why a trade is not going to happen. And and John Wall, as well as John Wall agent, has already said they're not going to accept the buyout, because in order to accept the buyout, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. All right. The Houston Rockets are not going to buy you out and let you keep all of your money. Okay. Now, I shouldn't say nothing's impossible, but this is close from being called impossible. Okay. There's no trade partner. There's no dance partner that's craving John Wall. And that contract is going to keep them from exercising a trade, because not only you're going to trade away John Wall, you're going to have to trade away some draft picks or possibly talent that you already have on your roster that you have already done decided they're going to be the future, and we're going to see what we have on this roster. I feel like ultimately what's probably going to happen, and John Wall probably is not going to like it, he's going to have to accept the buyout. All right. If he wants to get up out of there. Now, he could just sit on ice for the Houston Rockets for 2 years. And that's the ammo he's using for the Houston Rockets. I want to be gone. You guys want me gone. But I'm not taking a penny less in order to get up out of here. I'm not accepting no buyouts. And the only way you're going to get rid of me is a trade. And the only way a trade is going to happen if you guys forfeit talent that you already have and some draft picks, meaning your future. And this is clearly a lottery team. The Houston Rockets have a bevy of picks already at their disposal, as well as when they're done playing this season, they're going to have some high value top picks for this for the next NBA draft. And they're playing for the future. They're a lottery team. Okay, let's just go ahead and just call it for what it is. They're a lottery team. They're not going to get rid of their picks just to get John Wall up out of there. And they're hoping that if John Wall wants to get up out of here so bad, that he's going to take a buyout. Now, there's only, I feel like the Houston Rockets organization feels some type of compassion for John Wall. Maybe at the start of the season, they'll probably list him on the IR, which is probably nothing wrong with John Wall. They'll probably let him just sit at home and, let him figure it out himself that he's going to have to accept the buyout. But if John Wall gets stubborn-headed, and if he gets stuck in his ways and say, look, I'm not accepting a buyout because I'm not losing no money, eventually the Houston Rockets are going to have to play their hand, and they're going to probably place him on the bench, and he's going to be sitting on the bench watching all of these younger players, play around him and maybe sort of guilt him in or embarrass him into saying, look, I just take a buyout and try to land on another team. Now, if he accepts a buyout and he becomes a free agent, are there teams willing to have John Wall under a 1-year contract with the veteran minimum? I feel like John Wall can contribute to a contending team, particularly to add more veteran leadership. He plays the point. I don't see the Lakers doing that because they already have Rondo and Russell Westbrook, and their team is already loaded. I don't see the Brooklyn Nets doing it because they're already loaded, even though they are short at the one. Okay. Even though they have James Harden can technically, and he is playing the one. And if push come to shove, they can always shove Kyrie Irving back at the one, even though he plays more like a two. But I still don't see a possibility of John Wall even landing there. But the others, and what I mean by the others, the other teams may be interested in John Wall that's trying to get a playoff spot, that's short at the one position, that would love to have John Wall on a veteran minimum contract and help contribute to the team as far as getting them deep into the playoffs. Okay. There have been talk that the Miami Heat may be interested in John All right. So that's what's going on with John Wall. I wish him the best of luck. But I feel like how this is going to play out and how this is going to turn out is John Wall is going to have to come to his senses and accept a buyout because there is no market for him or a desire for him for a team that's willing to trade John Wall straight up, and basically trade John Wall and give Houston either picks that they don't want or a player that they don't want. All right. I just think that train has left the station, and John Wall has a huge contract that a lot of teams are not willing to take. Okay, they would love to have John Wall, but they don't want that contract. Okay, so yeah, that's all I got for today, guys. Tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next video. Deuces.